Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Tuesday morning the 23rd of April. Okay, so sticking with the Sebastian Rogers case today, although the majority of this video is beyond Sebastian Rogers. Yes, it's relating to Sebastian because there's a particular search group that I'm going to talk about who went looking for Sebastian, but it's also about search teams in general, their credibility and the concerns about them that have been voiced by other search groups. This is a difficult one. It really is. Because I hate it when it comes to light that there's somebody involved in a search organisation whose heart is not in the right place or whose background is a massive concern. I also quickly just want to readdress the working together that Sebastian's parents are allegedly now doing, and whether Katie actually does hold the key. Let's go. Alright, so let's start with that. The parents working together. So we know from Saturday at the vigil, Chris and Katie didn't attend it. Chris did turn up kind of prior to the vigil started and looked like it was confrontational, like standing very, very close together. It looked confrontational. But was it confrontational? Not sure. Because it appears that after that conversation, they'd agreed, according to Seth, that Katie, his mother, and Chris, his stepdad, they are genuinely going to start working together, who've been at loggerheads, I mean, all spearheaded by Seth, since the very early days. Sebastian's been missing, you know this if you've been following the case, since the early morning hours of February 26th. So he's been missing for 2 months. All of this horrible stuff came out about Sebastian's essay, and just horrible stuff came out. I'm glad if it's true that they've reached a truce, then I'm glad about that. It's way better in any case, whether it's a missing child, whether it's a murder, where there are blended families, that they work together. Look at the Petito and Smith families and what they've achieved for Gabby Petito. You know, and if there is conflicts, then you keep them offline. But then Seth went on Peter Hyatt's channel, and I played a small clip from that yesterday in my video, but I'm going to play it again, because it appeared that Seth was still endorsing this view that Katie holds the key. Katie knows more. Katie needs to spill the beans. Listen again.
And is there anyone present that would like to live under stepfather's rule, from what we've heard? No. From what we've heard out of his own mouth? Is there anyone that would say, hey, sounds like a good parent to me? Would anyone let him babysit your cat? Some comments from you, Seth.
I was pretty much here just to listen to you. Okay. You have a lot more experience and stuff, and I appreciate you having me on the panel, and I appreciate your insight. And
does any of it sound crazy to you?
No. I was married to her for a long time, and you're right on a lot of key factors. You're right on. You know, I believe that she did not open up at the beginning. Reading her body language while I was there. She's not telling everything. I just don't know how long she's going to continue before she decides that she's going to unburden herself.
So I don't think that's in good faith. And again, yet again, I'm going to say, I do not believe Seth had anything to do with the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. No. But I don't think Katie or Chris did either. But that's just my personal view. Anyhow, does Katie hold the key? Does she? What if she's told everything? What if the only thing that Chris and Katie were holding back initially was the fact that there were problems in the family from the past? They weren't the cohesive unit, you know, working together to parent Sebastian, particularly Chris, originally kind of put forward. That all quickly fell apart. So is that the only thing that they held back? And is what Katie said actually the truth? If there was clear evidence that there was lies involved, then I think law enforcement would have behaved very differently towards this investigation. But who knows? Time will tell. Last thing I'm going to say about this new revelation that the parents are working together is this comment. Now, I found this on JLR's Twitter page, and it's from someone called Linda replying to someone called Roxy. Yes, Chris was at the Harley shop talking to the store manager while standing next to, wait for it and clutch your pearls, a motorcycle, which now constitutes him buying a new bike. But in reality, Chris was trying to organise a biker rally in 2 weeks, so a biker rally for Sebastian. Seth knows this, which is why Chris showed up to tell him. But Seth still wants to mislead people. Look, I've no idea whether that's true. But we're soon going to find out if there is a biker rally. If he has biker friends, then a rally for Sebastian. That's going to really kind of raise the profile, isn't it? Everyone looks at bikes when they're in multiple. So, I don't know. Let's wait and see. Is that what Chris turned up to tell Seth? Well, he could have just rang him, I suppose. But, yeah, interesting. But like I said, no idea about the truth of this. All right, now let's turn to search groups. There are several search groups that have turned out, and all gratitude to anybody involved in a search group, whether you do this professionally, whether you do this as a volunteer, whether you're part of an organisation, or whether, like Seth has done, you get together a group of people to raise awareness and to do the searches. So there's numerous search groups that have been out. EquiSearch, Midwest, I believe Texas EquiSearch, if I'm not mistaken, have been involved. I know for sure that Twyla and Dave from EquiSearch Midwest have been involved in the search for Sebastian for a long time. They've been concentrating on the drone searches. They've been working with law enforcement. So everything that I'm going to say from here is not concerning people like EquiSearch or other groups who, do have law enforcement's endorsement, and they are in it for all the right reasons. So the donations that people give them are used for, their search efforts. Equipment's expensive, gas is expensive, hotel rooms, all of that stuff, all expensive. So, groups like EquiSearch who work from donations only, then they do need those donations to come in. So everything that I'm going to say next, please do not take this as me saying that you should never donate to a search organisation. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is just be careful. Check their credentials. Why am I talking about this? Well, Trey from Narked Divers did a 5-hour live stream yesterday. I watched the whole thing. It was hard to listen to, partly because Trey was just all over the place. He's going off at tangents and stuff, and I do that, so I can't say anything. But it was very emotional. He talked about his own past, but the focus was on the search team or searcher of the YouTube channel Brothers Underwater Recovery. If you remember, it was about 3-4 weekends ago now. Trey was out there walking the retention pond that had been drained by law enforcement, but he wanted to rewalk it. They did another retention pond. Trey did all that work, and sat on the bank was the guy from Brothers Underwater Recovery. What's the problem with that, I hear you say? Because Brothers Underwater Recovery did do some searches. Trey said that actually Brothers Underwater Recovery was a registered SO, and he wasn't told. So he went into all the different people who've been involved, who've worked with Brothers Underwater Recovery, and apparently they knew, and some of them don't work with him now, but Trey didn't know initially. He doesn't want anything to do with this guy now. So I thought, okay, that's interesting, because Trey from Narked Divers is the same guy who blew the whistle on the United Cajun Navy, if you remember. So the United Cajun Navy, when they were out searching for Riley Strain, I did a whole video about this. Trey said that the footage that News Nation, Ashley Banfield's show, used was actually him in the water, and then Brothers Underwater Recovery on the water. Ashley Banfield made it sound that it was this dude from the United Cajun Navy. You know, it was him. It was his organisation, but it wasn't. So I thought, is Trey just bitter? You know, his name's Narked Divers, so he's Narked. Is he just bitter? Is he calling out everybody? So I had to go and look for myself. And during this process, I came upon this guy, and I don't know him at all, called Cooper's Amputee Lifestyle. So he's a searcher, he's an amputee, he relearned to dive, having lost a leg. So he's a diver, he does the sonar stuff, and yeah, seems legit. And this is 2 days ago. So he was also talking about this dude, Brothers Underwater Recovery. Registered sex offenders in Cave in Rock, Illinois. And here he is. This is the dude from Brothers Underwater Recovery. Crime information. Victim was 15. 15! And the offender was 31 at the time of the offence. The victim can't consent. His name is Ronnie Dale Wagner, and he doesn't give his real name. He just uses his first name if, like, he's interviewed. He doesn't want people to know his last name. And when he has to give his last name, he gives it as Wagner, not Wagner. So people can't look this up. Well, this is pretty bad. Now, you might say, well, he did his time. So, yeah, he's on the register, but he did his time. And there is that. So he pled guilty to this, but he said he was set up, that the 15-year-old was actually the daughter of his ex, and they set him up. But why would you plead guilty? I don't think so. But there was more about this guy that Cooper disclosed. All about money. Now, this is in the case of Andy. I don't know this case. Her relative, apparently, Ronnie came on to one of them. Can't verify that, but here is more proof of the kind of person we are dealing with. This man is a UK veteran, so from the UK, who volunteered to come and help Ronnie dive and look for a missing girl last year. Money was raised on a GoFundMe to help cater to the needs of his searchers, but it was never received by the volunteers. Ronnie pocketed the GoFundMe money, and it was told to me by another man I spoke to yesterday that he was later seen in Walmart purchasing a cell phone and drone, apparently for his wife, forcing all of his search team to have to stay uncomfortably in a small one-bedroom motel. He also convinced another lady into paying his internet bill for 6+ months. Aside from that lady, another lady who supported him also sent him $3,000 to fix up his boat. Seems to be an excuse he uses. So these are the people making some of the allegations, but the guy, the searcher from the UK, is this dude here. And they raised money for a search, and he came over, this dude came over from the UK to learn from Ronnie and these other searchers and to get involved. So money was raised in this GoFundMe. I think it was $600, and Ronnie spent it all. Now, these are just allegations. That's all. These are just allegations. Why are all these people having such big problems with this guy? Is he a fraud? It's a big mess. So, again, I'm not saying that you should stop donating to search organisations. I'm not saying that. The majority of people who go searching for missing people are genuine. They're genuine. And organisations like Equisearch have got a great deal of credibility. So please do not get this mistaken. It's just certain individuals who are creating this issue. And it sounds like drama, but it's not drama if you're a family member of a missing person and you put in your faith, your trust and your money into a searcher who isn't in it for the right reasons and who is doing questionable things. I'll leave a link to this, Cooper's Amputee Lifestyle, and then the 5-hour live stream by Trey from Narked Divers, if you want to go and check them out. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.